Welcome to the Pineapple Pinup, the Hot Wife Life podcast. On today's podcast, I am going to talk about a couple of parties I went to over the weekend, and then I sit down for a conversation with Hopeful from Cuck My Life podcast. He's going to be featured in a few episodes leading up to when they drop the full episode with me, because I interviewed with them and that episode is coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. So stay tuned for that. And then I also answer questions for a listener. Went to a party on Saturday that was a meet and greet. And it was a meet and greet because it was kind of a pool party, but to get in and out of the pool, you had to be in your swimsuit because it was outdoors, and there were neighbors. It was a lot of rules. It was a lot of back and forth. It was a lot of stuff. It was the first time that we had been to this establishment to go to a party. And this establishment is kind of well known in our area as a place to go and party. And different groups rent out the various levels of the house to have parties in excess of what the regular people who own the property do. So it was kind of an opportunity to take a look at the place. Unfortunately, when we were there, only the main level was open because they'd only rented the main level. So there was no touring the rest of the property, which has many, many things to offer. And I was so bummed that I wasn't going to be able to see it. But at the same time, it kind of gave me an idea of what was there. It was really super interesting and a great setup for a big party. The party that was there was not a target-rich environment because it was a meet and greet. There was a lot more females there than males. And it was sort of like there was no starting gun. There was nothing that was going to push it into play level. And so we had another party to go to, but I had originally set up to meet a friend there, a friend that I had met at another party that was going to show me around this property. And she did, and it was so much fun, and catching up with her was fantastic because I like having women friends in the lifestyle. I like having women who understand what you're talking about, who understand that this is a real life thing, who understand what it is that you're talking about when you talk about going to a party and who you saw and what you did and how many cocks you got or who you played with, because they themselves played with those people. It is fun to talk to a woman who is excited about the same things you're excited about, that have commonality of hobby or activity or a common language. And finding those people, like, you have to consider them like you do your work bestie, that they are right there and they're ready to chat and they're ready to talk. And even if you don't see them in other aspects, they're still very much your friend. very much somebody that you communicate with, and very much somebody that you can download with. It is very, very exciting to have those type of people available, like Andrea and this new woman that I've met, Thighs. This is so, this is exactly what I'm hoping for when I do these types of activities. I'm hoping to find my tribe. And this is, I really do enjoy that aspect of it. Okay. So, because of the fact that this party wasn't exactly a dick down, it wasn't exactly a fuck fest, I looked at my husband and said, well, we've seen the place, we can take off. Now, I had done something at this particular party that had kind of freaked my husband out. I had been talking about big plans for the future of the podcast, big plans for the future of what I wanted to level up to, big plans for all of that stuff. And when I start talking about big plans, my husband gets freaked out. My husband gets, he's very risk adverse. I am always running off on tangents, being very risky, being very like balls to the wall, like setting a course and just attacking it. And he's always standing beside me going, could you calm down? Which makes complete fucking sense if you think about it. He and I are a very good team because while I want to run at a breakneck pace, he slows me down and says, maybe we think about this for a second. And it's very yin and yang. It's very healthy the way that I force him to risk more and he forces me to slow down. And it is there are times when each of our approaches works out for the better. So it has made our life very rich and very full and very all of these things. So you can't really fight it. But I made the mistake of getting creatively inspired with Thighs and talking and building and creating this magical world where I was going to do all of these things with like zero time to actually get any of it done. But I was going to do all of these things. And that conversation, because of the fact that it was very building on top of suggestions and creating more and more scaffolding, my husband was looking at it like it was very precarious. And he wasn't wrong. He was definitely not wrong but it freaked him out that I would have these conversations and start making these plans without any conversation with him. And I didn't. I did all of this spur of the moment, off the cuff, flying by the seat of my pants, taking creative suggestions from Thighs and taking it to the next level and moving up and leveling, because that's what I do with my creative mind. I level things. I go up and up and up and up until I have created something that is too monumental to actually tackle. So my husband is now kind of upset. So we leave and we go to the next party, and he has not shaken his upsetness by all of the scaffolding I have built at the previous party. Even though scaffolding is meant to be temporary, meant to be something that can get you up to a next level, but then it will come down pretty easily. He sometimes doesn't see that I say things because my creative mind is building this castle out of sand, and that I know that the waves are going to come and crash it down, but that's but I still, because my mind works like that, I build the castle as big and as elaborately as I can, and then I don't worry about it when the waves come and wash it away. So he's freaked. We go to the next party. He is not having a good time. I don't recognize it. I know something's off, but I can't figure out what it is that has pushed him to this point, that has taken him out of the mood. And I'm playing, and this was a party where I was surrounded by my people I hold dear. Okay. My friend Val was there. My friend Jeff was there. Alex was there. There were a bunch of people that were there. And that when I go to a party, I love to see them. I love to hang out with them. I love to talk with them. I love to fuck. And Val and I we're very much similar with our differences. We're similar, but we have very much differences. And she's another person that I love to fucking hang out with her. She is so much fun. She is bright and witty, and she's just all the things. Like, she's the things. And we have a mutual respect for one another. So there's absolutely none of that infighting. Or is there? So I see now you have to understand, in the world of play, we all have other things that are going on. We have our lives that we're dealing with, and then we have multiple, especially in the summer, we have multiple parties that we're being invited to, and multiple places that we can go, and multiple offers that we're getting. So because of the fact that we're getting these multiple offers and we're getting these multiple things, we are very much torn in many, many directions. So because of the fact that we have been torn in many, many directions, Jeff and I have not seen each other in entirely too long. Okay. So I walk in and I see him and I'm like, oh. And he and I are like magnets. We find a place to play, we lay down and we start playing. And he is a magician when it comes to my vagina. He is a magician that turns the fountain on, makes the fountain everything that it could possibly ever want to be. It is a very ornate structure when he is done with it. And so we're playing, and we're playing in this hotel setup. There is a king-size bed in a studio suite. So there's like a kitchenette and a living room area and a bed that are sort of L-shaped around the bathroom. And then in the next room over, it's two queen beds that are a separate room from a living room and a kitchen and a bathroom. So there's one space that's like no beds at all. And then there's two spaces with beds, but one of the spaces has the living room kind of attached to it. So it's a much better voyeur room than the other one. So Jeff and I head over, and there's a woman and a gentleman playing on the bed. And we get started, and he does the thing. He does the hook, and he wakes everybody up, and he's like, "Come to the party, everybody." Come, come, come. And come, I did. So he gets everything prepped, and then he sinks into me with that beautiful dick of his and fucks me and pulls out at just the right moment that I end up spraying the poor woman next to me. Literally soaked her leg. I'm touching her leg, and it is like making splashy sounds. I feel very badly. I keep apologizing to her. She's like, "Nah, it's kind of what we all came here for." So she's very understanding. But I'm not the kind of person who feels okay about making everybody else live in my mess, because I know that it's my mess. Despite the fact that I blame it on everybody else, I know that it's my mess, and living in somebody else's mess is sometimes a bummer. If it's not a bummer, great. But if it is a bummer, I don't want to be the person that caused it to be a bummer. You know what I'm saying? Not really, because I'm not making any sense, but that's okay. You get it. But I end up fucking Jeff for a while, and it is glorious. And we are making a god-awful mess. And then the other Kilo that wasn't there last time, he's there this time. And he and I have a very good rapport. But unfortunately, we weren't hitting the mark this time. There was something pedestrian about our fucking. I don't know what it was. It was just we weren't vibing right. So I ended up playing with him for a little while, and then things just weren't working. So we kind of tapped out, and then we headed over, and I was chatting with my friends, Val and Alex, and I started to notice that my husband was sort of not really around. And I went to find him, and he looked very upset. And I said, "What's going on?" And he goes, "Nothing. I'm just not feeling it." And I'm like, "Okay, do you want to take off?" And he's like, "No, if you're having a good time, let's stay." I'm like, all right then. So I went, and I ended up we ended up as a pod, Alex, Val, and I, and Kilo, moving into the king bed again, because the king bed was the only place that was open. And Val and Alex are fucking. And Val and Alex are fucking like it is their job. They are fucking, she is coming, he is pounding, and she is loving it, and she is talking, and she is doing all the really good things that talking does, okay? She is talking him through, telling him what a big dick he has, telling him how stuffed full her pussy is, how deeply he's fucking her, how good it feels, how much she is coming. These are all things that she is reiterating to him in a way that was really fucking hot to listen to. And it makes sense to me why guys like it so much, but I'm not entirely sure when the bug hits me and when the bug doesn't hit me, because sometimes I can do that. Sometimes I can be very vocal and I can talk my way through the fucking. Sometimes I just can't. So Kilo and I tried it again, and it really wasn't working again. So then Jeff came over, and Jeff and I started playing again, and magic. That man is magic. And then after I played with Jeff again, Val and Alex had finished, and then Alex looked at me and said, and I said, I guess you can't see my face right now. Alex motioned to the bed, and I nodded my head. And then he fucked me. And he fucked me like my pussy owed him money. He fucked me hard. He fucked me good. He fucked me deep. This is a very tall motherfucking man who literally trains every single day to be the best fucking stud horse at any event. He does cardio, he edges, he does all of the things that you have to do to be the guy that can make it to the end of the party and be able to fuck all night long. He took Val for over 30 minutes. Made her come so many times, she was a strung out, wrung out mess. She looked at him and said, "Did you come?" And he said, "No." And she went, "Ugh." And then he motioned that he was going to play with me. And she goes, "Are you going to come for her?" And I'm like, "Hey." And she's like, "I'm very jealous. I am such a cum slut." And it was so funny and it was so cute and it was so just exactly what needed to be. It was so cute and fun. And then so Alex and I played, and Alex fucked me hard, fucked me deep, did all of the things that sort of catapult you into a different headspace. One thing he did that kind of intrigued me, he gave me hickeys, not on my neck, but on my chest, right above my tits. He gave me hickeys. And I was like, when's the last time that I had to wear clothes that covered up hickeys? Now, mind you, my husband gives me hickeys all the time. They're weird and inappropriate. They're like usually like on the center of my forehead or like randomly on the tip of my nose. My husband gives me hickeys, but they're more like goofing around hickeys. They're I know it's weird, but it is what it is. This is our adorable little life that we lead. And it was, but for me, the whole night was really fun and exciting and good. But my husband didn't have the same reaction. And I was trying to figure out what, and for the longest time, it just didn't dawn on me that what I had done was I had talked up something that he wasn't really prepared for and gave him the icks. And then he wasn't quite sure that he really wanted to continue doing all of this. And because he had the icks. And it wasn't until Monday morning when I was at the gym and I was lifting heavy things that it dawned on me that what I had done was I did the thing that I do that makes my husband frightened and ick feeling. I had done the creative scaffolding that had put him in a headspace that wasn't right for parties. And it was 100% my fault. And I saw it and I recognized it and I apologized to him. And we talked it through. And I told him the God's honest truth. Half the shit that comes out of my mouth is probably never going to happen. Half the shit that comes out of my mouth when I'm in quote unquote planning mode is probably never going to be. But that being said, it's fun for me to plan things, to get things, my creative juices flowing and talk about leveling up, despite the fact that I don't know how long or how much I'm actually going to be able to level up. And I'm not making promises to anyone when I say these things. I would like to grow my podcast. I would like to grow my influence. I would like to grow because that's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I want to alter the life that I am currently living to pursue this more hardcore. Because the life I'm living, I don't know if you can tell, is pretty fucking outrageously awesome. So that's my conundrum. And I love doing this podcast. I love doing it. So that for me is a reward in and of itself. But anyway, I have to think and I have to write down and I have to set up a plan that's actually going to be conceivably doable without freaking my husband out. Hi, Hopeful.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me very early on a Sunday morning.
Well, it's the least
Um,
I could do. You gave us over an hour a couple of weeks ago. We can't wait to drop that episode.
oh my gosh, I that was so much fun for me.
Well, I'm glad.
Like it's it's really nice because as you know, I do this podcast alone and having somebody to bounce conversation off of tends to help my brain work. Um,
Well, I've been listening to you a lot, and your brain seems to work just fine.
aw,
It
thanks.
seems to work just fine. But we try to create a welcoming environment for our guests, and we're really just interested in the conversation.
Yeah, and that was one thing I gleaned from your from listening to your podcast was that conversation is probably the most important because these conversations need to be had.
Oh, agreed.
These
And normalized.
conversations need to be normalized. We
Mm-hmm.
need to normalize everything about the swinger cuck life. Because it's your neighbor doing it.
Mm-hmm. I say it all the time. There are way too many people really uptight about the sex no one is asking them to have.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So I did my big thing is origin stories. How did you get into the lifestyle? When did you get into the lifestyle?
So it was 2019. My wife and I got married in 2018. Um, she was, as far as I could tell, very vanilla. We have a very nice rapport. We get along really, really well, but we were not clicking in the bedroom. We
Mm,
could not find a dynamic that worked for us. I had just come out of a weird little relationship where I was in a very dominant position, and I was trying to carry that on with her, but she was not super responsive. And I came to her in either late 2019 or early 2020 and said, look, we have to have a conversation about what's going on because we're not having a positive sexual relationship. And I want to tell you a few things about me that I think might help. And I wasn't sure exactly where the conversation was going to go. And it took a couple of weeks
as it
and many,
should.
many conversations to get to what I really am is a cuckold who would like to see you with other men. It took weeks, but I finally got to the point where I just said, look, this is what I want. I'd like to see you with other men. I don't want to be with anybody else, but I'd like you to be more dominant. And um, we've been exploring it since then. Now, as I've said many, many times on our podcast, Cuck My Life, my wife got sick a few years ago. We haven't really gotten back on track since then. We've had some family tragedy, but we still have a wonderful rapport around who we want to be when we
Right.
get to that point. And whether we're actively cucking or not, I am what I am. I'm
Mhm.
still a cuck and happy to be one and proud to be one.
Good. Okay. So, did you find that I mean, considering the fact that you were in a dominant relationship prior to that,
Mm.
um, I find it very fascinating that you actually walked the path to what you really truly wanted because you knew you wanted something spicy, from what I
Oh,
can
no
tell.
question.
You wanted something a little bit more than vanilla.
No, without a
Eh,
doubt, I am a kinky fuck.
hey, aren't we all?
Mhm.
So I love the fact that you walked that full thought process and had the conversations that led you to being truthful about what you truly want.
I think that a lot of people are scared of those conversations.
It's incredibly hard to be vulnerable.
Incredibly, and
And
especially men of a certain age. I'm
mm,
sorry, but you guys have a tough road considering the fucking playgrounds we grew up on.
and the expectations of what a man is supposed to be can really fuck with your brain if you want to be in this particular place where I am.
Mhm.
And it is one of those things where you have to, and what I've recognized over the last 5 years more than anything else is that I can be a cuck and still be a man. There's
Exactly.
no I am a submissive, but
To
to
one person.
her,
Yeah,
not to you,
exactly.
not to them, not to some fucking guy walking down the street. Like there is nobody who has ever met me in the vanilla world who would think, "Oh, he's a pushover."
Yeah. I get that
That
a lot. I get that a lot. And it was really funny because for a very long time, the relationship I had with my husband wasn't, um, wasn't very good. I mean, we weren't communicating very well. Because of my past trauma, spent a lot of time walking on eggshells with him,
mm,
and that wasn't fair to him. That wasn't fair to him. But when we actually started communicating, everybody looked at me and said, "Oh, I get it. I see it now. I see where you guys," because nobody can see the thing that makes you and your partner click,
100%, yeah.
because a lot of that is the intimacy.
But we have our relationships in private,
Exactly.
right? We have the relationship that we show the world,
Mhm.
but we have most of us, I think, and I would venture a guess that it's all of us, have completely different relationships in private, and that's what
That's
makes the world go round.
Unfortunately, I've started living my private life really out loud, hence
Not
the microphone.
unfortunately. I'm just gonna tell you, it's incredibly fortunate for, let's see,
Aw.
Moses, Josh, several of the Johns,
Oh my
the
god.
9 guys at the like,
Oh,
you are seizing your sexuality, and it is a joy to watch it. Well, let me rephrase. It is a joy to listen to.
oh, thank you. Well, I have always been a very sexual person, a very kinky person, and this has given me so much. So, a lot of times people think that I'm doing this, "Oh, you're doing this for your" No, and my husband oftentimes actually asks me, "Are you doing this for me?" And I'm like, "Oh, sweetie,
You
I
and
don't know if you
Tatiana would get along
saw
just fine.
I don't know if you saw the big cock I was riding on last night,
No,
but
if it
it's
was
not
for
just for you."
you, I'm on board anyway,
Yeah,
like, either way, like,
exactly. I'm willing to be that tugboat.
if
I'm
that's
just
what you
willing.
need.
That's what you need. I will surrender myself.
Such a
So
giving human you are.
I know, right?
I got a question from a listener. So I wanted to ask, when you're had your in-depth discussion with your husband about starting out having fun with guys and girls, whose idea was it? Obviously, your husband gets off on watching you and video video the experience. And I love how you say that when you look at him when you're being fucked, you get two guys off at once. Has your husband ever joined in, and how on earth does he not come in his pants watching you? Okay. Um when we were in-depth conversations about this lifestyle, it was my husband who brought up the suggestion, who wanted to talk about who wanted to swing. I had originally brought up the idea of swinging, and then he agreed to do it, and then that didn't really work out. But when we got back to it, it was my husband who finally broke the barriers down and said, "This is my fantasy, watching you with other men. You are my porn star." And that's what took me, that's what I finally had to come to in order for us to be successful in this lifestyle. So it was him who brought this part of our life to the table. My To answer the next part of the question, I actually asked my husband, so how is it that when you are watching me fuck another man, when you watch me, you are, how you don't come in your pants, how this doesn't take you over the top? And his response to me, and I don't know if I'm doing it justice or doing it verbatim, but this is the gist. He said, when I'm watching you, I am leaking constantly. I am leaking so much, but I'm saving that for you. I'm saving my cum for you because he knows that I earned it. There's something to be said about being a cum slut. There's something to be said about being the person whose entire joy, whose entire person loves getting off on making somebody else come. Now, a lot of guys are cum sluts and they just don't know it. But when women talk about being a cum slut, there is something so incredibly gratifying about stealing some man's soul. Because you guys, okay, we are the yin and yang, okay? This is so yin and yang. Women are struggling to come and men are struggling not to come. This is the opposition that makes the world go round. This is the magnetic pull and push that makes the world so incredibly imperfectly perfect. This is what these opposite give and takes are what everybody, like, it makes the world go round, and it's so incredibly awesome and fucking hot because as a girl, as a man, you are like focused on getting this woman to come. And this woman is like, I really want to come. I really want to come. I really want to come. Oh, good. He's making me come. Oh, good. And then knowing that you're fighting that feeling, fighting that boiling in your balls, that feeling that it's just going to erupt and you don't want it to, and you're fighting it and you're reciting baseball facts in your head to keep from thinking about the fact that this woman underneath of you is just nothing but curves and roundness and wet sucking holes that you just can't help but let it go. And that's a moment for us, okay? That's a moment for us women when we have gotten you to the point where you're no longer fighting that urge, fighting that eruption. The fact that we made you get to the point where you were, oh, that is something that gives us such feminine power. You can say what you want about, the lifestyle. You can say what you want about sex, whatever. But this is seriously the most basic power move you can make. A man, his power move is to make this girl come until she is a sloppy, wet mess. A girl's power move is making him come this one time, this one moment where everything that he wants this feeling to last so fucking long. But something about that vagina, something about that cunt, something about that woman writhing underneath of them is just too much. And they give over. And in that moment, we have stolen their soul. We have stolen a piece of them. We have stolen something they did not want to give up, but they're so grateful that they did. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day at work. I want to thank privateadventures.net for supporting me in this journey in this podcast. And I'd like to encourage you guys to go over there and check it out. They have a new blog over there, and they're constantly rotating in new pleasure items that are exciting. And just go take a look. And at checkout, use my promo code pineapplepinup10 to let them know that I sent you. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Pineapple Pinup, the Hot Wife Life podcast. As you know already, if you've listened to any of these, you can reach me at pineapplepinuppod@gmail.com. I love getting emails and questions from listeners, so do not ever hesitate. If you are not an emailer, if you'd like to hit me up on my socials, my Instagram is listed in the show description. Feel free to reach out to me there. I am setting up a Patreon, and I will, of course, give you all the details when I have it fully formed. Again, reach out to me if there's anything you want to talk about, any questions you want to ask me, anything you need answered. I would love to share it online or share it on the show. Thank you so much for joining me.